Hey, it's Rebecca. Welcome to Garden Grace. And things are still blooming. The tomato plants, my cucumbers, the peppers, my beans. And so there's something else that I want to be able to provide for my plants that will just help a little bit more with the fruiting and blooming. And it's my special banana fertilizer, and I want to show you how to make it. All right, come with me into Garden Grace Kitchen. All right, welcome into Garden Grace Kitchen. And I am excited to share with you this banana fertilizer that I found out about. If you remember, y'all, I had a farm and feed store for 25 years, sold lots of chemicals. Toward the end of the time before I closed the brick and mortar store, organic farming was just beginning. And so I really didn't get a lot of experience with doing that. However, at this stage of my life, this new chapter of gardening, the way I would like to garden, I am doing more and more of the organic gardening because I feel it's healthier for the plants, it's healthier for me. So why not? All right. You know, we had lots and lots of rain. And then we were under the heat dome. I'm speaking specifically here in Southwest Arkansas. However, I know there were lots of areas in the United States experiencing the exact same thing that I was. So then we had this high heat and humidity dome that we sat under for 7 to 10 days. And that combination didn't do anything for my tomato plants, to tell you the truth, the new blooms that were on there. And so I got blossom drop. And this fruiting and blooming mixture that I'm creating here is also going to help those tomato plants recover. But I'm not just doing it for them. I'm doing this also for lightly on my beans that are blooming, because you don't want to overdo that. I'm doing it for my cucumbers that are blooming, my other tomato plants that are blooming. And I will be sharing with you a list of the things that I have that I know this is going to work for. And it doesn't work for everything, especially not for seedlings. And it doesn't do well with your leafy greens, your lettuces, your Swiss chard. Y'all, it is simply educating yourself on what you can use, where to use it, the best way to use it. So I'm just going to show you right now. And honestly, what's interesting about this is that I'm doing this for a 1 gallon mixture. As many plants as I have, I need 4 gallons. However, I'm just going to show you the 1 gallon mixture, and then we'll be able to expand that before I go and start fertilizing my different plants. This is really simple and it's cost effective, because I do like to find ways that you can still garden without it being expensive. And this is perfect just when your plants might need that extra boost without overdoing the nitrogen for the plants that don't need that right now. Okay, so I have my banana peels. This is for actually from one banana, and it's been in the refrigerator. You can even do these. You can peel your bananas if they're getting a little too ripe, and then also put these in the freezer until you're ready to use them. And I just went ahead and cut them up. I probably didn't need to do that because I'm using my Vitamix, y'all. I've had this Vitamix probably 10 years or more. My kiddos got that for me for my birthday, and I absolutely love using it. It's a very simple one, on off switch. It doesn't have like changing different speeds and things like that. However, it's perfect for what I need to do, and that's why I want to share that with you. All right, so we've got one banana peel that I went ahead and cut up. I've got 1 cup of warm water. I have 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt, and I've got 1 tablespoon of wood ash. Now, the wood ash is good for the potassium. The Epsom salt's good for magnesium. And again, you can add a teaspoon of molasses for the micronutrients and whatnot, but not everything I have really can utilize that or is good for that. So I'm just leaving it out for me. Okay, so I'm gonna put in my cup of warm water and my banana peels. And you know what's good about the Vitamix is that it's going to make the slurry liquid so good that it's going to be ready to be used immediately without having any chunks in it. Or like if you were going to use a 1 gallon watering can, you wouldn't be worried about clogging it up. I blend the banana in the warm water first to get it to the right texture before I add in the wood ash and the Epsom salt. And then, y'all, I'm going to pour that into a 1 gallon bucket, add up enough water to make the 1 gallon of mixture. And then that's going to be ready to put onto my plants. You can put 2 to 3 cups per plant. And then after I do that, I'm just going to share real quick is that I'm going to water in what I actually put on there, because you want to make sure if the soil is dry at all, you don't want this to burn the roots of any of your plants. Okay, I'm going to mute the sound for you on the video because this is kind of loud. And yeah, so but I'm going to show you just how well this does work with a Vitamix. There you have it. Oh, it smells like banana. And there it is. And so I'm going to add it to my 1 gallon bucket. And I'm going to pour in my wood ash and my Epsom salt. Let's mix that. You know, with my yeast fertilizer, which I haven't shown you that yet, but I will. The guy that I follow, that Zen Oasis, I think is who it is, he says to add, and just like this one said, add warm water. And so I'm going to actually add warm water to this. You know, this consistency is great. I mean, it is so good. So I'm going to add the water up to the 1 gallon, and I'm going to pour this into my big blue bucket that's outside because I'm actually going to be making 4 gallons of the mixture. Well, the best time for putting this fertilizer on your plants is first thing in the morning. And it's now, as you can see with the sun high in the sky, it is definitely past that time. So let's get my lid for the mixture, for my 1 gallon mixture that I've already done. Because what I'm going to do is actually put it in, yeah, I know, I used warm water to mix it all up, and now I'm going to put it into the refrigerator because you can keep it in your refrigerator for 3 or 4 days and it's still okay. So that's exactly what I'm going to do because I want to make sure that I apply things when they need to be applied, not when it might seem convenient for me, like I've just now made it, but it's afternoon, and no, this is not the right time to do it. So don't do it then. And I'll be back to show you when I do tomorrow. Good morning from Garden Grace. It is now early enough in the day that I'm ready to start applying my banana fertilizer to my plants. And I went ahead off camera and fixed up enough solution that I actually have 4 gallons of this fertilizer mix for all of my plants. And I just wanted to share with you, just a few of the do's and don'ts So you do want to apply this when you're in the fruiting and the blooming stages of your plants. And you do want to apply this like every 3 to 4 weeks. And the don't put this on seedlings. Don't put this on leafy greens in the way that they don't need this as much as they might need nitrogen. And don't put it on, uh, drought stressed out plants, because this is just going to add to their distress. So last night I went ahead and I watered all my plants. You do not want to apply this if they're sitting in water, if they're waterlogged, like when we were having all that rain. Yet now it's just the soil has been well watered, and this is the perfect time to apply the solution. I want you to think of this more as a bloom booster, not as an all purpose fertilizer. So that's the best way when you're thinking, oh, when should I apply it? Well, and that's why every 3 to 4 weeks would be good if they're in these stages. So, yes, I've uncovered my tomatoes just so, and this is 1 to 2 cups. And you don't want to apply it on the leaves. You only want it at the base of the plant. And y'all, if you caught my other video about my blossom drop, this is going to help that as well. And on these, because they're bigger, I'm going to do 2 cups. However, I do want you to know that over here in my green stalk, and I'll just show you how I'm going to do that. So I've done extra watering because my beans were looking so yellowed out. And then I realized in a vertical garden like this, and with the roots growing like they are, it's sapping all the moisture out of there. So they do need extra water during the hot time of the summer. And so I still have my watering system in place. So I do turn that on, let that fill up, but I actually add extra water to the plants. Okay, so doing this, since you don't want this on the leaves, you have to very carefully. Oh, there's a really good bean I can pick. I'm going to reach in there and very carefully I'm watering it into each of the pockets, the individual pockets or cells as I've been calling them. So this way I make sure that the plants that need it are getting it. And again, just like we eat the right foods for our health, we need to give our plants the right food for their health. Yeah, I just love this. These plants will love the potassium and magnesium. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, beans, strawberries, root crops, but used sparingly and only during the later growth stages, and flowering ornamentals like the ones I have, zinnias, marigolds, nasturtiums, cosmos, and use caution or modify for your leafy greens because they prefer more nitrogen. And the garlic and onions, they do better with the balanced or nitrogen forward fertilizers early on. You can use this mix near the end of their cycle when bulbing starts. And then seedlings or new transplants. The salt and ash content can be too much for young roots, so wait until they're established before using it. So a pro tip, just rotate this in. Use it as your flower and fruit booster, not as your main fertilizer. And remember, water it in is going to ensure the nutrients reach the roots. I don't need you to watch me fertilize every single plant. I just wanted you to first understand that you can make an inexpensive fruiting and blooming fertilizer right in your own kitchen, and then you can keep your vegetables, your plants, and this works for flowers as well. keeps them healthy and happy and supplies you with what you're needing in your garden during the hot summer months. All right, thanks so much for joining me in Garden Grace this morning. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, because I'd love to see you here more and more. And also get notified of the next time I come into Garden Grace just to share a tip or a garden moment with you, just for the success of your garden. And always remember, grow in grace. All right, y'all. Bye.